Joe's Corner 76. Hi, I'll be commenting on the human condition. In order to change the human condition, we need to be involved. Canada, COVID-19. What now? Are we all now out COVID? Are we so tired of it that we're not going to obey the only rules that seem to keep us healthy? I think we need to carefully look at that situation. And remember, we got through 2 world wars, we got through a depression. Our forefathers stood up, so can we. We can get through this. Social isolation. COVID-19 has caused a lot of social isolation for people living alone, people that have disabilities, people that have some mental problems, people that are just old and don't have a lot of relatives. This is the kind of time for all of us to remember these people. Just give them a call, say, hi, how are you? How are you doing? You'd be surprised what a lift that can be. It doesn't take much. It doesn't cost you anything. This pandemic has caused a real opioid crisis. Deaths are up. Alcohol abuse is up. We need to do something about this. What we need is treatment centers for these people now and in the future. The long-term care problem. It's been a disaster for the people in long-term care. The deaths are so sad. Everybody you seem to know has lost someone. Long-term care is in crisis. But please remember, it's been in crisis for over 35 years. No one's done anything about it. Are you going to demand your government, and I mean your provincial government, do something now, not after the pandemic, forget it and go back to business? We need the government involved. We maybe need to get rid of private care facilities. Has COVID-19 shown that the health system is broken? We need to rethink this. How we spend our money, what we do, what processes there are. Do we need to have some kind of private health care in place that's in many other jurisdictions? They work, they help relieve the pressure on the health system, and they don't cause anyone to lose coverage. Have we finally reached a point where we definitely need an in-Canada vaccine system? A pandemic plan for now and in the future? Because there's going to be another pandemic. We need to make sure that PPE equipment is produced in Canada. Remember, we knew all this in the SARS crisis and we did nothing. Vaccines. We need them now. We seem to be at the end of the line for them. We don't know 3 crucial questions. How much are we going to get? When are we going to get them? And how are they going to be rolled out? This is a question that the federal government has to answer now. We can't wait. It's a matter of life and death. And we need to know who's going to get them first, who's going to get them second, etc. They need to tell us of their plan. Job losses. They've been horrific. We've lost so many small businesses that are the backbone of the economy that provide most jobs. Will they be coming back? Maybe never. Not to the extent that they've been destroyed. Will we need to set up retraining programs to be able to place these displaced people in jobs so they can get back to earning a living, supporting their family, and being productive members of society? Relationships. This pandemic has caused a lot of fractures in marriages. It's caused a lot of domestic abuse. We also know that about the drug and the health problems that have occurred with this. We maybe need to start and rethink about our relationships. We maybe need to start and think about the support systems that should be in place for domestic abuse. We need to, again, as I mentioned earlier, have drug and rehab programs in place. My fellow Canadians, are we becoming dependent on government? Are we getting used to a government handout because of the pandemic? How many people have you heard say, well, I'd rather stay home and not work and just get the handout? I think this present government is hinting at a universal income plan. It's not going to work. We can't afford it. We've got a $400 billion deficit now. All of us in this society need to think about how we use our money, how we use our credit, what kind of savings we should have. We need to now know how many people are just $200 away from the street. We need a rethink on what we save, how we spend, and we need perhaps even some control of these atrocious interest rates. But mostly, we need to rethink about our habits. What will the government do to repay this pandemic? There's no plan in place. We don't know what the economic recovery plan is. We haven't been given that. As a matter of fact, we really don't even have, in my view, a proper economic update other than stuff that doesn't seem to make sense and just promises to spend more money. Do you think Canada needs a reset? The government seems to be saying that with the pandemic and climate change, there's an opportunity to rethink the country, to rethink how our processes work, to rethink how our institutions work, maybe to reset the country to something different. I'm asking you, do you just not want the country back the way it was? Do you really feel Mr. Trudeau has the mandate to alter Canada to something we will not recognize? We all need to realize, unless there is change, we will be worse than we have ever been. This pandemic has to be overcome, but also, at the same time, we have to realize, doesn't matter what government's in power, we're going to have to pay higher taxes, maybe raise the GST, and definitely we're going to have to control government spending. We can't go on like this. At this point in time, I want to leave you with the message that there is a silver lining in this dark cloud. You just have to, like our forefathers did, hang in there. We will get through this pandemic, but we want to make sure ourselves, our government, and our country is prepared for the next pandemic, because believe me, there will be one. I'd love to know what you think. You can listen to me on Anchor FM, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and you can see me on YouTube at Joe's Corner 76. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Joe's Corner 76. Thank you and goodbye.